Hello, folks. Hope you guys are doing well. Decided to go live a little bit later today for a multitude of reasons. First reason being that today I was multitasking, was sorting something else out, so I wasn't really didn't really have the free time to go live at the set time, and that being London session, excuse me, or the New York Open. In truth, I probably could have made London session, and I did take a trade today or two, and I could have for sure made it, but I decided not to. And we can have a quick glance at the markets, and then I want to do a session where we study a little bit together. I've studied by myself multiple times. I want to go through this new document where we are both learning, and it's just more so me documenting me going through ICT's videos. Before we start, I want to show the trades I took. Okay. So firstly, we took this. This hit stop loss like badly. The reason why we took it is because when London session opened, we went down, which was the Judas swing in our opinion, because we displaced back into the Asia range and we broke this high over here. So we broke this high, and although it's a high, it's not a market to shift because this didn't create a lower low. So it's not much market shift. It's just the breaking of this high. We then had a displacement, as you can see by this, a larger time frame is a displacement, a cleaner one, and then you can see that price broke through, retested it, and we got in on this kind of retest here, the second retest, because we set a limit, and then price just went straight down basically. We entered USD Swiss franc, same idea. We swept Asia highs, instantly came back into the London or Asia range, and we displaced into that range from the sweep, and then we retraced the midpoint of that fair value gap, that imbalance. So stop loss above just the fair value gap, the upper bound, and then we sold to Asia session lows, which hit TP. So Asia session lows, you can see here, this is the box we used, and the trade we took was like this. We sold to these Asia lows down here, and as a 1 to 5. So very good trade. We took sweep, displace, retrace, enter. And you can see here within our research, our strategy is sweep, displace, retrace, enter. And that's literally what we saw. Unfortunately, we didn't get this on the other one. We didn't even get it in either, actually, technically. But we still managed to make profit for the day. Okay, so those are the trades we took. Need to keep this open. Those are the trades we took. And yeah, we're just gonna go through the videos. We're going to need to unmute the desktop audio, make sure that it's working.
In the marketplace? Do they deliver?
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna watch these videos. This is the one trade I would recommend. TGR is also quite good. He has a decent understanding in the markets. Those are the two guys I'd recommend. Everyone else, I know of them. They maybe are good in some instances, but I like these guys overall. Like I can listen to them blindly. But I'm going to prioritize Inner Circle Trade. I just feel like he has a better track record, albeit it's open to interpretation and opinion. But that's my personal perspective as of now. Okay, so the plan, simple, right? We've gone over the trades we took today. We could look at live markets right now. We'll probably do that maybe in like a break. We're going to just go through this video, making notes on the right hand side, and then from our notes, we're going to formulate a trading plan. Okay, so we're going to start this video. This is the introduction. We might skip a little bit because I've listened to this like multiple times, and he does talk about things we already know. So we're going to go potentially skip through it, but let's just listen.
More times than not, does it provide you a way of finding consistency over a week? Not every single day perfection, because I can't provide that. I don't even trade perfectly like that. No trader can, no teacher can provide 100% accuracy. But the way I teach and the way you'll see me mentoring on this channel in 2 days is I take the yearners, okay? All of you that are not trading yet or have tried trading and failed, you're yearning to learn how to do this, okay? So I'm teaching with that mindset. Now, some of you obviously may have already been with me and found some consistency, and some of you are doing exceedingly well, and that's amazing. That's great, and I'm thankful for all of that. But this is really meant for, specifically, it's for my daughter. Okay, so I sat down and figured I'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and if I can show a simplistic way of going in, using the things that I teach, stripping it down to its crumb. Okay, no bells and whistles, no advanced theories or anything like that. What can I do to provide a model that my daughter could look at and say, okay, there's not a lot of moving parts. It's real simple for me to decide what it is I want to do, and also when not to do something. Okay, and some of you may already be completely upset with that idea because you want me to come out here and lay an arsenal in your hands of high-tech weaponry. It's been my experience that the highest form of analysis concepts that I've been teaching in my own personal mentorship many times creates exceptional traders, yes, but the majority of them, and them being my students, they get bogged down in all of the content, and it just creates analysis paralysis. And it's just too many things for them to decide because, like kid in the candy store, what do you eat first? And while you're still chewing on the first thing, what are you going to reach for next? Okay, so if you don't have discipline, and this is a personal responsibility characteristic that all of you are going to have to really assume, okay, because I can lay the things in your hands, but if you don't respect the fact that they have sharp edges, okay, or if you use live ammunition before you're really properly trained, you could hurt yourself, okay? So with that idea in mind, I'll be teaching a stripped down version of my concepts in a mentorship style, so that way you can go through the process of learning how to do a specific trading model. And I'll keep things germane to that model, not try to bring in too many things. And one of the approaches is to trade it with index futures, okay? And if you are not interested in trading futures, that's fine. You can still trade Forex with these concepts as well, but I kind of want to drive it with futures. I actually began trading in 1992 as a commodity and futures trader, and I moved away from grains and cattle and gold, silver, crude oil, all those types of markets, and moved into the bond market, the 30-year treasury bond, and the S&P. So when that became my cup of tea, if you will, I became a better trader intraday, and I put down the pursuit of trying to be a long-term position trader because I felt that that would be the best thing for me, because at the time I was working a job and had to balance all those things like working class individuals need to do. They have to commute back and forth to work and those types of things. So I figured position trading would be the thing for me, and I found out that it didn't work for me. Okay, so I liked the idea of short-term trading, intraday trading. It made sense to me because I can make quick decisions. That may not be your style of trading. I will teach you how to apply the things I'm going to teach on the YouTube channel, how you can scale that up into any time frame. So that way there's no excuse for you not to be able to use the information to at least better your understanding in price action. Okay, so here's my promises to you. I promise you, you're going to learn things that absolutely repeat a lot. You are not going to be perfect. It's not my goal to make you a perfect trader. It's not my goal to make you a perfect analyst. My goal is to improve your understanding about price action, how price is delivered, and how to read the bias on an intraday basis, a daily basis, and hopefully over a short-term period of time, you can find setups that repeat, and they have
Okay, just a little side note. So he mentioned that there's going to be a lot of repetition. Repetition is going to be a good thing because it allows us to mm, memorize and get in tune with being consistent with certain facts, such as the things that he will mention over and over again. Uh, Assuming that the repetitions, the things he's going to be repeating, are the things that we need to learn. And when they're repeated, that means they're important. When they're important, we remember them. When we remember them, it can show in our training. So that's the idea. There's also something else he mentioned, which was that one of the goals is to teach us how to find out the bias on the intraday level, a daily level, and a larger time frame level. So I think that's key because one of the things I've been struggling with, like in a week, I can tell you where price is going maybe every other week. I get direction right. And when I get direction right, I think it's important to turn that into making money because a lot of people, and sometimes even myself included, can get direction correct, but it does not mean you make money. Making money is separate to predicting where price will go. Excuse me. And I think it's going to be very important when he's on that topic. I will really slow down the video because that is an area I think is something that I can improve on even myself. So yeah, sounds good. And yeah, I'll just be kind of cutting in and out. Probably be muted for the most part as he's talking, and then go from there.
Common characteristics that are very similar, but they won't be identical. No, they won't be carbon copies, but you'll see similarities that to know and trust that this is a setup that you are familiar with. Okay. And because you are all being viewed as yearners, okay, you are all yearning to learn how to do this. There's 3 stages in this YouTube mentorship. Okay. I'm treating you all as greenhorns. Okay. You're just yearning to do this. A lot of you that begin this YouTube mentorship will not complete it because you're going to get frustrated because you want something else or a alternative way of me teaching it to you. I'm not going to take suggestions from anybody on how to teach it differently. This is the way I'm going to teach it. So it's as is. It will not be setups given to you for trades, but I will take your attention before the fact and draw them out on a chart where I want you to study, where price will likely draw to next. And using the things I teach you conceptually, it's your job to study that. Okay? Do not look at that as a trade setup. Do not look at that as a enticement to take a live trade. So it's my intentions to take the yearners that want to learn how to do this through a process of becoming structured learners. So you're going from yearning to learning, and hopefully, at your discretion and timing, you'll become an earner. Okay, so yearner, learner, earner. Okay, so those 3 stages are what I'm going to take you through. It's not going to be an entire year mentorship. I'm only going to do probably 3 or 4 months. But before we get into it, I want you to know that I will not be providing any content to the YouTube channel or my own personal mentorship during the month of March. Okay, so March 2022, I will not be doing anything. I'll be on vacation and we're going to be doing several road trips. So I will not be working for you. Okay, so if you can accept that, then I think over the next coming months, it should be rather entertaining and interesting for you as a student. So you're looking at this screen here, and one of the things I promised I would do in 2022 is to show you how some of these concepts would work in an environment outside of a demo account. I've always used the moniker demo baller because that's my name. I gave myself that to kind of like champion the idea that I'm teaching through a demo, but if I can teach you through a demo and things are repeating, you can see your charts. Okay, whether it's a live platform or if it's a demo, you're seeing the things that I teach. And if you've been fortunate enough to be in my presence when I'm calling it beforehand, it's very rewarding. And you all on YouTube will have those experiences as well. But the main thing is for you not to grow a dependency on me pointing to everything before it happens, because if you do that, or if you have that mindset going in, it's going to stunt your growth. And in fact, it's going to create a barrier for you because it'll create a codependency state of mind. And I don't want that. I try to foster a independent mindset where you're independently coming to the decisions on your own. So that way the results are yours. If it's success, you own it. If you failed, you own that too. I can't co-sign for your failure. And some of you absolutely will fail. I said this many times openly and every time I've been asked. In 2016, I started a paid mentorship, and I have students from that time period that are still trying to find their way, and they cannot make these things work for themselves. I have other students from 2016 that are absolutely mind-blowing results, and I have students from my mentorship group that was the final class in 2021. I'm not taking new enrollments, so don't ask. That group, I have traders that are doing very well as well. So it's not a shortcoming on what it is they're being taught. It's just an individual, unique experience that you have to grow and go through. And I can't speed it up for you any more than I already done. So I'm optimistic, but I'm a realist. I know some of you simply will not do the things I ask you to do.
Okay, I like this segment because he's saying that essentially you got to put in the work. Now he has to also be careful with his wording, so he can't guarantee a lot of things because when it comes to financial markets and the financial industry, you can be liable to a lot of people's like suing or disagreements or all these types of things. So he has to be careful. But from what we can gather in the code and the carefulness of his speech, what he's basically saying is that look, trading is not going to be for everybody. There's going to be some people that they go their whole lives, they will never get it. They will never crack the code. There's going to be some it's going to take years. There's going to be some it's going to take 1 year, 6 months. There's going to be people it takes 10 years, right? And I think it's important that we don't compare with each other because once you start to compare, you enter a dangerous territory because again, you may interpret that comparison as I'm not good enough or interpret it as I'm not the best trader. And it may be your destiny that you are. So my point is this, right? Instead of getting too deep or was trying to think too much into what he's saying, is that when you put in the work, you will get the results. And when you get the results, own the results. Because as much as trading is winning, it's also losing. And you will lose. And it's important that when you do lose, you own it so that you can, first of all, know that it's yours. Number two, work on it, fix it to your best of your ability, potentially through journaling. And then if it's a rectifiable mistake, you own it, you try to learn from it. And if it's a part of your trading style or strategy where it's just one of the ones where, okay, you know what, I take the loss, right? My trading plan got hit and I made a mistake. But at the end of the day, the mistake was a part of my trading plan. It's just one that comes with it. And you take that as your loss. And yeah, essentially what this is going to be key for is that he's also saying that a lot of people don't finish the job and they don't finish it because they want a quick fix. They want the tutorial. They want your trading plan. What do I look for, right? They want instant success. So they look for instant answers. And sometimes, well, no, a lot of the times, especially with this type of strategy, it's important that you learn it, you know it. That's why he's emphasizing how he's not going to show you his trades per se, but he's going to show you sometimes where to look for things so that you can come up with the ideas and the answers yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're not always going to have him, he's always going to be available, and you also cannot be contingent on him showing up. What if he doesn't want to show up? What if he's busy? What if it's delayed? And so his point is that we should come up with it ourselves so that we can be the ones that draw from our own information and draw from our own strategies so that we can repeat it in anywhere at any time and we're not relying on anybody. And yeah, I think that's key to the point of when he was saying that we've got to put in the work and there is no shortcuts. He's done his best, he said, to shorten it, and there's not much more you can do because he's made all these mentorship videos, he's done all of his live streams. He cannot force us to speed up the process. The only way is by us simply just put it in the work. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to try our best to, not going to try our best, we're going to consistently show up, consistently learn, consistently put in the work. And I might do some off streaming and show you my results. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to put in a lot of effort just so that I can be one of the ones that show that it's possible. And we go back into the video again.
You will not do them effectively, and you'll try to shortcut certain things, and you'll think that you don't need to do this and don't do that, and your results will be reduced because of that. So if I suggest things to you, drills, homework, things to study, do your best to participate in that. Okay. And even if you can't do it live, there's other ways to go through and look at it. It's not the same as seeing it live, but it's as best you can do, because some of you have businesses, some of you have school, jobs. Okay, let's be real. You may have family things that keep you also from being able to watch live data in the times I'm asking you to do it. I'm not going to jump through hoops. I'm not going to do acrobatics to make it feasible for every single one of you. Okay, it's unrealistic for any of you to have that expectation of me because I don't need to be doing this. I love doing it. I'm looking forward to doing it, but I want to make sure all of you have the right mindset. Okay, so in 2022, I promised that you would see how these concepts work in an environment outside of a demo account. And what would that mean? Well, it would mean not an MT4 platform, because years ago it's been shown how frauds and fakes can use that platform to pretend that they're profitable, that they can find setups, and that their trading is amazing, and they can go in and edit their trades after the fact, after the market's already moved. Well, I've already proven that I don't do those types of things, and I went to TradingView, and that was the platform that I asked my community. I said, which platform should I use? If I'm going away from MT4, I want to go to a platform that's reputable. So I teach, and you'll see me teaching through TradingView. So that's the medium that we use. It's familiar to me because I'm teaching mentorship students through that. But if that's not your platform of choice, you're just going to have to get used to me teaching through that medium, because I'm not going to do something in addition to. Okay. But for a live account, I felt that TD Ameritrade is very reputable, and that it is regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and all of the other governing bodies. I cannot rig this to make it look like I'm smarter. Okay, I can't go back in and change a trade. I can't fix it. Okay, I can't add lipstick to it. Okay, it either is or isn't a profitable trade. Okay, it's simple as that. TD Ameritrade uses the margins that are accepted and established in the industry, and some of you may not be able to trade a market because of margin. Don't let that be a hindrance. I'll show you how to work around that in other platforms. While I don't personally use an MT4 account for teachings or trading live funds or anything like that, I'm confident that students that are trying to learn how to do this, they can still use MT4 or MT5 or any other platform for that matter. I, as an educator, though, moved away from those platforms because they can be gamed. Okay, in other words, they can be used to fraud and fake results. Okay, so in TradingView, you've seen examples after examples of me going in, recording an entry, calling the moves as it happens without the replay button, because replay doesn't let you do trade entries. Okay, and replay only shows you a completed candlestick. It doesn't show you the generation of the open, all the price action up and down to the close of every individual candlestick. So I had a lot of folks over the years ask me to show live account, show live account, show live account. And one of the things that kept me from wanting to do it is because if I show results of any kind right away, and this is how I viewed it too as a developing student in the 1990s, that made me feel like I'm never going to get it, because their results were way above what I could do as a learning, developing student. I had no idea what I was doing in 1992, but to see people say, yeah, I made $50,000 in the soybean market, okay, or I made $80,000 in coffee. Well, that to me was a very huge mountain to climb. Like, I have to do that. It felt impossible. But I also didn't want to give results that were so low end that it didn't inspire an interest in having people want to learn it. So because this business is extremely unique and personal, it's both the easiest thing you'll ever do, and sometimes, for many of you, is the most impossible thing to be successful at. And that sounds like an oxymoron. It sounds like double talk. And it is, but it isn't. How's that for a rib? You can't appreciate how difficult it is until you start trading with live funds. But before you start trading with live funds, and you're in a consistently quote unquote profitable demo trading stage, you feel like you can do anything. But something magical happens when you go into a live account, where now suddenly every little tick means something to you, because it means success or failure on an individual basis. Whereas if you lose in a demo account, you didn't really lose anything. You can take another demo trade. But with live account trading, you have to deal with that drawdown and that loss. And making money in an account is sometimes worse than losing money, because it'll make you feel like you want another taste of that. And it creates opportunities for you to go in and overtrade and or over leverage. And both of those things we'll talk about in the YouTube mentorship. how to avoid some of those things. But it's up to you to avoid them. Okay. And it takes a lot of ownership personally, and the responsibility that is required to do this is paramount. Like, you cannot have anybody else take responsibility for your actions. It's your actions. And if you do well, you earned it. If you don't do well, you have to eat it. Okay. It's the way it is. And too many people are weak-minded in this world that they will never become successful traders. No matter who teaches them whatever thing they use, they're going to be a failure. Okay. That's just the way it is. And there's no way around that. I can't fix and improve everyone's shortcomings. I have my own personal issues that I fight and wrestle with internally, and it's not easy. Like, I'm obsessively compulsive, and I have ADD. It's all these things, okay, that make it difficult for me. And I'm bipolar, so I have a lot of mental barriers. But if I can sit down and frame out an idea that repeats at least once a week, I'm confident that those individuals out there that are like me or without these barriers can do it as well. That's my personal belief. It doesn't make it fact. It doesn't make it true. It just means that's my belief. And I've seen case studies in my own students where that's true. It's a transferable skill, but the skill must be honed by you, the student. So anyway, I promised I would show some results in 2022 outside of a demo account. So I used TD Ameritrade, but years ago I was asked to show a regulated broker, non-MT4. And I felt that TD Ameritrade was a better choice outside of the standard Forex account brokers. Because with TD Ameritrade, you can trade Forex, you can trade futures, you can trade commodities, stocks, options, you can bonds, everything out there, you can trade it. Okay, so eventually over time, if you do become successful and you're profitable, you want to go with a broker that allows you to have access to all those vehicles, because there's certain times of the year, certain asset classes just aren't going to do very well, but others will. And this type of broker, and I'm not repping TD Ameritrade, I don't get anything for it, I'm not an introducing broker. I'm just saying that when I'm showing results in an account that is not demo, this is the broker that I deposited funds with. So that way we know what I'm saying here. I'm not telling you to go here and trade. Okay. I have only traded a few trades with this broker, but I can tell you their fills are immediate. Their confirmations are solid. I haven't had any problems technically. It's just I'm fumbling with the layouts, the way things are made available to me, because it's just like anything else. When I'm transitioned from MT4, teaching from that, being very comfortable with that, going into TradingView, it's just very cumbersome, and I'm still clumsy with it when I'm teaching, and I'm finding it a little bit cumbersome here as well, because I just don't know where they have certain things. I don't know how to make the charts scalable as fast as I want them to be, and like I'm used to doing it with TradeStation or TradingView or MT4. So it's just a learning process, but it doesn't change the fact that if you know how to trade, then the trades are easy. So I keep everything very simple. I use limits and markets to get in, and I just collapse the trade when it gets to a target of my choice. So that's all I'm showing you here today. It's just to show you that the things I'm going to be showing you are applicable on paper and in demo, and the same logic is used here. And while this is not a lot of money, it's only $23,694.11. It's not something to brag about, let's just put it that way. But it's something that's not demo. It's something that won't stay at that level. And my objective is to teach conceptually a hypothetical income-based strategy. Okay, it's not a trying to beat the World Cup. Okay, it's not trying to do better than every Instagram trader out there. It's just trying to teach how someone can take another opportunity, and hopefully in the best case scenario, and I can't guarantee or promise it to you, but I'm going to certainly do my best to do what I know and how I can teach it, so that way you can be at least inspired to make an attempt to try. Okay, and because I believe that things are about to get really, really hard for everyone financially, and without going into great detail, just look around the world and you know what I'm talking about. But this is the E-mini S&P March delivery contract for 2022. Okay, and it's a 2-minute chart, and I want you to see the point of entry here. Let's just say short it took, and the cover was here, and another one here, a small little scalp, and here, and then over here I'm showing you so that way you can see there was no other trades after that short, or 2 shorts rather. And then today I slept in, and I just wanted to have something in addition to what I already have here. This is kind of like one of the setups that you're going to learn in mentorship, where the entries here and exits here. Okay, not a lot of handles. Okay, a handle would be like 45.67 to 45.68. So that's 4 ticks or one full handle. In this market, it's $50 per handle or per 4 ticks. So every 1 tick is $12.50. Above this high is buy stops, and I was targeting that here, running into that. Okay, so very, very simple strategy. Optimal trade entry. You don't need to get in at this level here. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to have forgiving entries. You don't need to be highly precise about your entries, but you need to be precise about the directional bias and where it's going. Okay.
So that's something that's very key because I wrote it down here. I need to be precise. I need to be precise about direction, yet I can have forgiven entries. So it's very important to understand what that means because though you can have forgiven entries, it's not that forgiven entries means you can be sloppy. It's just that you can have more than one option. With direction, it's either it's going to go up or it's going to go down or consolidate. So it's only really and truly 3 options. Excuse me. Go up to meet your external liquidity above, meet an external liquidity below, or to hit neither. Potentially hit both, right? But we're talking about direction first, right? Which is where price is going to move in the intraday perspective. So yeah, price could go up, hit the external daily, the daily high, and then hit the daily low of yesterday, which is the high and low, or the external liquidity above and below. But it doesn't mean that price. It's very important that price hit up first. So it hit one thing first, and the point I'm making is that with direction, there is a fact. It's either going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to stay in between the range. Those are the things that price will do every single day. So in trying to get the direction is very important because it's a fact. With entry, it's also a fact, but it's multitude. It's more like English and mathematics. Mathematics is direction because you either get the answer right or you get the answer wrong. Entries is like either the workings out to a mathematical answer or it's an English, where I'll explain both examples. Like I said, it's pretty easy with direction. It's either it's right or wrong. With entries being the workings out, it's the equivalent to sometimes you may not get the right answer, or you might not get the best answer, which will give you the most marks. But because you did workings out, you can still get marks, which to still pass and still be profitable in your exam. So such is the way that where you can get the direction right, or you maybe you get the direction right, but you don't get the best entry. But it doesn't matter because you have direction correct. Your entry may not have been as good, so your risk to reward ratio may not be as much, or you may not have made as much money because you got a little bit later than normal. Or in the essence of it being an English test, English doesn't have right or wrong answers, but you can have different ways of getting the same results. Or sometimes if you look at the people that got A stars or nines in the UK in their GCSE English exam, none of them wrote the same thing, especially because it's an open-ended question where it's about imagine or create a story or whatever it was. I'm not sure the exam paper. So that's my point. My point is that with entries, you can get the correct results. You can still be a profitable trader if you don't get the most precise entries. So this is where I got it from. Is from this statement here, and he just said it now. So just wanted to pause there just to really hit that point home. He said a lot of things beforehand, but the kind of talk he was talking is more so mentality wise. I'm not really gonna go into that too much. I want to go more so and focus more so on the strategy of things. If he does say something that's like, I might stop and pause and talk on it. But for now, I just wanted to make a note of that.
Where's price reaching for? And that's kind of like what I'm showing you in this mentorship on the YouTube channel. So if I have at least given you the opportunity to find setups conceptually, if that's the case, then over time, if you submit yourself to it, you'll find more setups than you'd ever imagine. Because they're there a lot, especially on these lower time frames. So, in a nutshell, what am I saying here? I'm saying that if you can learn how to take 25 handles, okay, if you can take 25 handles out of a market like the E-mini S&P, you may not have the margin, $12,000, $13,000, whatever it is, to trade one contract of this market. You don't need to have that. You can trade the micros. And while you're not making $50 per handle on E-mini S&P, you're making $5 per handle. You can still graduate over time and build that up. And it's not a lot of initial margin that's required to do that. Or if you're outside the US, you can trade a CFD and trade the US 500 market through like an MT4 account. And again, I'm just going to touch on that. I'm not suggesting that you should, especially those individuals in the States, because it's actually illegal for you to trade that because it doesn't go through a regulated exchange like a futures market would. So it makes it illegal for U.S. traders to do that. So we have to, in the U.S., trade through the futures market. And they have been nice enough to provide micro accounts or vehicles like the E-mini S&P and the NASDAQ. They have micro accounts. So whatever the multiplier would be on the regular mini, it's just reduced to a smaller level in terms of margin and tick value. And I'll cover all that stuff. I've made it very, very simple, or at least that's been the goal I'm having going into this. I'll make it very, very simple for all of you to look at it, say, okay, I don't have to have 1,000 moving parts. I can go in and simply look at things that make sense. And if you can visually understand what it is I'm teaching, you'll see that it doesn't require a lot of chart graffiti, okay, things that are very distracting. Do you look at this chart here and see a lot of things that would be mysterious? No, very simple little things. I'll draw a line to highlight a level that I want to see breached, okay, and a level where I want to see it reach up into. And that's the basis of understanding how the markets work within a liquidity matrix. You have buy side and sell side. And once you have that understanding, and I'll teach some of those things in the mentorship, you'll be able to find setups that repeat at least one good setup a week. But if you can find 25 handles a week in the E-mini market, you can do very, very well with that. Very, very well. You don't need to hit home runs. And here's my inspiration to you in closing. If we're looking at a market that provides us setups, and let's just say your mortgage or your rent is, say, $1,500. It may not be that much. It may be actually more than that. Now, I'm just going to say, let's just say it's $1,500. What happens if you can earn enough to make 50% or all of that a month going forward? Would that not be beneficial to you? That's the mindset I want you all to have. Or let's say you have a car note and your car payment and your car insurance. If you could find a way to have that money come to you by your own speculation over time, not right away. I'm not suggesting all of you are going to be able to do this in the same year. But over time, if you submit to the process I outlined for you, my belief is, my personal belief, my honest opinion is, I believe that it is possible. Now, anyone can say, oh, anything's possible. But I believe the things I'm going to show you are things that you'll be able to spot on your own. Now, I'm going to coach you throughout the coming months, showing you where certain things may deliver. But I don't want you to feel like you need that. So I'll teach you how to anticipate certain things on your own, and then you check yourself with the things I reveal or do a review with. And my belief is that you'll be better at reading price when I'm done doing this YouTube mentorship. And again, I don't think I'm going to be doing more than 4 months, and that 4 months is actually including the month of March, where nothing's getting uploaded, nothing in my private mentorship or on YouTube. So I'll be vacationing that entire month. So I'll be doing those things during the month of March. And in April, I'll return back to the mentor that I am in my private mentorship, and I'll return back to the delivery of the lessons on the YouTube channel. So what does the schedule look like for this mentorship on YouTube? Obviously, Friday will be your first episode, and then it'll be a Tuesday and Thursday upload. There will be assignments and PDF files provided for your learning throughout the week. I'm not promising any specific schedule on that, but you'll be able to see them if you go to my community tab. I'll provide a way for you to get to the information and download it. And I think that if you submit to this, you'll be far better than you are right now about reading price, expecting certain things to deliver, and you'll find that it's not as challenging when you have a good mentor and you have sound logic, and it's not overcomplicated. And that's my goal going in. And until I talk to you on Friday, be safe. Weakness.
Okay, we're gonna end it there.
All right, folks.
Mainly because I'm tired, very tired. I've had for the past couple of days, I think last 4 days, I've been up to like 5, 6 a.m. and I have to be up at 5, 6 a.m. So, well, realistically, like 4 a.m. I'm staying awake till 3:40, 3 o'clock, and then I'm waking up at 5, 6, and 7. So I think yeah, it's catching up to me now, and I have something to do in 2 hours, and then I'm up again at like 6 a.m. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. It was one episode one episode worth of videos, so we watched the whole thing.
Oh, we're here.
The panel's not showing properly. Hold on. So yeah, we went through the introduction together. The introduction was key, just helped us mainly analyze and watch. I don't know why it keeps Oh, let me Simon. So yeah, we can go on to episode 2, and yeah, we'll be able to go through episode 2 tomorrow, then episode 3 potentially the day after. And this, what I like about this is that it allows me to stream on the weekends, because with the days of trading, I was only keeping it within the 5 days of the week. But 5 days in a week in a year is about 260 days. Whereas if I do weekends, I can get an extra 100 days. So 104 days. So I was thinking, you know what?
All right, folks.
Let
How you
me
doing?
try and go in the weekend. And I was even able to stream during the day. So it worked out. So yeah, that's the posture. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know these notes were made kind of for the first 2 episodes, but I'd rather just it's good to re-listen to it anyway. So I wanted to go through it from the beginning, and then if there was any new notes or anything new I saw, I would have put some more notes. But I'm glad with what I've written down, and everything else should stay within my memory. So yeah, I will be here tomorrow. Might even be a double stream tomorrow, who knows? But yeah, I'll be back trading again in the morning. Thank you guys for watching, for tuning back in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. It's me, your boy CJ.